Hello and welcome to the Gonzalez Mitchell Show. I'm Clay Mitchell.
And I'm Patrick Gonzalez.
And today, Patrick and I, there you go. I was going to say, today our guest is Wicomico County Executive Julie Giordano to talk us about all good things Wicomico County. Julie, how are you doing today?
I am doing great. Thank you so much for having me on the show. I'm really excited to be here.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Julie, there's been some news recently that there's a problem with what's called 287G, and it has to do with local county enforcement or cooperation with ICE, and some what I would call some interference from the Maryland Attorney General and the powers to be in Annapolis. What's going on with that? And first of all, what is 287G?
Yeah, so 287G is a program that can be adopted by various counties, and it's working kind of hand in hand with ICE. And so there are three different models with it. We have the task enforcement model, and that's very much our police officers would be on the streets, acting as ICE agents. And then we have the JEM model, which is the jail enforcement model. And that is where our correctional officers and or anyone kind of working in the jail sort of serves as an ICE agent. They do a lot of I say interrogation, but they sort of do those questions, those vetting questions, and sort of work hand in hand with ICE. And then we have the warrant service officer model, where any persons of interest that are on ICE's radar, a warrant would be served by someone in the county, whether it be a correctional officer, law enforcement officer, and then they're held in our jail for an additional 48 hours. So these are people who have already been arrested. And once they are finished serving whatever time, that they were given, they are served this warrant for an additional 48 hours, and then ICE comes over and vets them. So those are the three different models. I will say that back in July, Sheriff Lewis, who a lot of people know, came to me and was really interested in working with this, which is no surprise to anybody. He's been to the border several times. He saw what was going on under the Biden administration. So he very much wanted Wicomico County to be one of the first counties on the shore to work with ICE. He was really interested in the JEM model. We are 30 correctional officers down, it could be a whole segment on its own as to where the world is with correctional officers at this point.
Right.
So it's definitely an issue across the United States. But so we thought the warrant service officer model would be the best course of action for us. We were ready to go, sign on the dotted line. Council had some questions. There was a little bit of a pushback from, a small portion of the community, but definitely the support outweighed the opposition. So we went in front of the council. We were ready to go, sign some documents, get ready to do this. And the AG put out I'd say like a memo, but it was more like a guidance, basically stating that Maryland law specifically says 287G can happen under correctional officers, like with correctional officers, but law enforcement is not mentioned. And so he very much advised against any law enforcement agency working with any sort of 287G, working with that federal agency. And it was kind of in a threatening manner. There were some things that were put in there about, discrediting them and removing accreditation, and there could be lawsuits and all kinds of stuff. So Sheriff Lewis, while he wants to protect the people of Wicomico County, also needs to protect his 98 deputies. And so we were removing the law enforcement aspect of this. So we still have right now the ability to do it just with our correctional officers. But based on that memo, and then you probably saw a couple of articles out there where the Maryland General Assembly might be visiting to get rid of 287G completely out of the state of Maryland. Right. We decided to pause everything and sort of reevaluate. But the sheriff, I don't want to speak for him, but I know he wasn't happy. I wasn't happy. And so we really feel it's definitely an overstep of the Attorney General at this point in time to be interfering with local governments working with federal agencies, because they're expected to, when it comes to the FBI or the DEA. And so all of a sudden this agency, though, they kind of wanted to put the kibosh on working with them. So we're kind of in a holding pattern right now. If the General Assembly does not move forward, we plan to move forward with the warrant service officer model. But we figured we would wait, because if they pass something, we didn't want to be 3 months into it and then have to stop. So
seems like it's a jurisdictional problem, maybe where the state it applies to state correctional officers and not county officers. I haven't reviewed the law, and I'm not quite sure that's clear that the state can tell a county executive and a county sheriff what they can or can't do. And there may be some issues coming up with that. But
Yeah. We
You-
plan
you're
to
really-
actually research that. So we have some constitutional attorneys that are going to be looking into that very thing, because I
Right.
think the majority of the sheriffs across the state are concerned, because if that language gets changed in the Maryland state law, it would make it that nobody could do it, whether you're in Frederick, Hartford, Cecil, wherever.
Right.
So it'll be kind of interesting.
Patrick, what questions do you have?
Well, I'm not a lawyer at all. I do know from my, I guess, 10th grade history class, something called the Supremacy Clause. And as I understand it, federal law supersedes all state law. And again, I'm no expert, but, federal law is being broken. And what Julie and others are trying to do is to adhere to federal law. So for the state attorney general to come in, it gets kind of complicated, and I dig the political ramifications and the legal ramifications and all that, but it just seems very confusing and is sort of representative of the average Maryland voter or a typical Maryland voter. I don't get it. I don't understand this. Not only here in Maryland but across the board. So, I'm more interested in learning than I am preaching. So.
And Julie, when he says, I'm not a lawyer, that's a passive aggressive slap at me every time, Patrick.
Yeah. We've done some research on this, and what it appears is that the state of Maryland could never pass anything that says that federal agencies can't come in here and operate, right? Like, so ICE can still be in the state of Maryland. They're still going to do their thing. But I was reading something, and Clay, you might be more familiar with this, but it was the Dillon Rule. And through the Dillon Rule, it seems that the state agency, the state, government can limit the local jurisdictions from being able to work with federal agencies. So they can't stop the federal agency, but it seems that they can limit how much the local jurisdictions are interacting with that, which I still think is wrong by every stretch of the imagination.
Yeah.
But it'll be kind of interesting to see how this plays out. It's definitely going to be a hot topic in session this year. So.
And Patrick, being a non-lawyer like you are, that's the Bob Dylan rule. I just wanted to clarify that. It was the U.S. versus Bob Dylan. If
knock knocking on heaven's door.
Here he goes again, Julie.
Yeah.
Now, putting this aside, there's some great things happening in Wicomico County. Tell us what's going on down there.
Yeah, I would probably say the most exciting thing was, so I was sworn into office December 6th, 2022. So I'm coming up on 3 years relatively soon. And about 2 weeks into office, I want to say, I signed a $3.3 million check that was given by Governor Hogan to the Tri-County Councils. I signed that portion, Wicomico's portion, over to SWED, which is Salisbury Wicomico Economic Development. And they had this wonderful idea of creating an aviation maintenance school at our airport. Right. And within 24 months, like a little bit less than that, we were able to get this thing done. And so Piedmont has been amazing partners. They gave us a hangar to work with. UMES hosts the program. And students, when they come out of high school or even as a second career or whatever, they come into this program. It's 12 months. It's pretty grueling, but once they get done, they are A&P, so airframe and power plant certified, and Piedmont is ready to hire them right here. So it's a beautiful model. And then if the student wants to continue their education, those hours that they put into the school do not go to waste. They actually can go into the aviation degree at UMES. So it's an awesome model. It's unparalleled to anything in the United States. And our first cohort started September 1st. And then we had a ribbon cutting in October. So they are steady going. So we are really excited to have that. And like I said, it's $25,000, I believe, and they get tools and everything else. So most programs are 2 to 3 years. So we we really push them through this program. So we're really excited about that. So that's one really exciting thing that we have right now.
Those sound like high-paying jobs.
Yeah, they are, and they're in need. You know, the aviation world was really hurting, especially for maintenance mechanics, and so giving them, you know, and especially here, you know, I came from the teaching world. I was a teacher for 17 years before I was sworn into office. Giving
Right.
students that choice, just another option of what they can do with a career, I think is so vital. You know, we have kids. You know, college is not for everyone, and so when we can provide just another avenue for people to be successful and to stay here and work, at Piedmont because it's headquartered here. It's
Right.
just really amazing. So I'm super proud of those efforts, and we just really plowed through and we're able to get it done. So we're really happy about that.
Now, what else is going on there with the airport? I understand that there's some new routes coming into and out of Salisbury.
Yeah. So, well, the first thing was we were able to pull across the finish line the runway extension. That had been something that had been kind of circulating for about 7 years. And I finally sat at my desk and I was like, where is this? You know, so I'm calling this person across the bridge saying, this is sitting on your desk. We got to get this done. So we were able to start breaking ground on the runway extension, which then opened the doors to a lot of other things. We had talked about an additional airline. And so Breeze Airways is now operating out of Salisbury. So it's our second airline. They fly out Fridays and Mondays, and they have a direct route to Orlando, Florida, which is
Excellent.
Awesome. Yes, yeah, it's great.
Excellent.
It gives people another option. You know, they did a data pool, and they really saw that we are losing a lot of people driving to BWI using Southwest or using a different airline. So we're really hoping to capture, you know, those folks. And it was $69, you know, one way. So you get a round trip for
Wow.
less than 150. Yeah, so it was great. So
Wow.
we're really happy about that. So there was a little bit of a hiccup with the government shutdown. So they were a little concerned as to what flights were going out, but we seem to be back in business now. So we're happy about that.
That's awesome. Patrick, do you have an interest in being an airline pilot?
Well, you know, when I fought back in the Civil War, I had this one plane and I had to pedal really fast. And I decided at that point I was going to give up my aviation career. But it is a fascinating, and by the way, the first flight I ever took was on Piedmont, so many years ago. So I have great memories of that. So I think that's wonderful.
Uh-oh, Julie, is your camera off? Julie?
Julie.
Julie. Oh, Julie.
Did we lose Julie?
Oh, no. Oh, no.
No.
Uh-oh.
Is this a temporary glitch or what do you think?
I don't know. This is what happens on live television.
I know.
Let me try and give her a call. Let's see. One moment, folks.
We got patience.
We're on live TV right now. We're still recording. Can you try and log back on? This is good television, by the way. Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, the county executive is going to try and log back on now.
I remember back in '52, I was on the Milton Berle show, and it was live. And we had, there she is.
I'm back. I'm sorry.
Oh,
I don't know what happened.
It's good to have you back. I get lonely.
I know technology is great when it works well, and then when it doesn't, I'm like, I'm sitting here, like, I don't know what I just did. I didn't touch anything. So anyway,
this is great TV. Great TV.
Yeah.
Now, there's other cool things happening in Salisbury and Wicomico County. What else is going on down there?
Yeah, so the other really cool thing is we have been doing a really good job at sort of analyzing our building situation here. And one thing that we knew, and I don't know how familiar you guys are with our health department here, but it is in a very aging building, and it's in a small building. And so we have services all over the county. And so we ended up buying an old Verizon building, even though it's not that old, and we are able to retrofit that. And we are going to be moving our entire health department and all of the little agencies that are within the health department over to one location. So we're really happy about that. It's right in downtown Salisbury right now, which there's no parking. So now we have a parking lot and a really great building. So we will actually start retrofitting that here shortly. And then the other big thing the city of Salisbury always gets to work with Salisbury University just because of location, but we were actually able to work with them too. And so there was a big controversy. I'm not sure if you heard about it, about the Ward Museum closing. We had a museum here, had a lot of duck carvings and things like that. It was a very cool place, but it ended up closing, and there were a lot of people upset about it. But the building is right on Shoemaker Pond. It's beautiful. It's a beautiful building. Salisbury University owned that. Our library is downtown. It's an old armory building, and we ended up trading buildings. And what's going to happen is we are going to move our downtown library to the Ward Museum. So it's going to be in this beautiful, just landscape. Like it's just wonderful. Like we're very excited. And then they'll be tearing down the armory building, and they are going to be building a performing arts center for Salisbury University. Great. Yeah. So just economic development, education, library, like just so many things working together. And so we're really excited about that. So that's just another big thing going on. And like I said, we have a ton of projects going on. We have a revamp going on to the Civic Center. You both were talking about that. You've been to our Civic Center before. So We've got a facelift going on, a new roof going on. And then we just had, $28 million put into Shorebird Stadium. So Mike Elias called former delegate Carl Anderson and said, we have the best minor league stadium he's seen in the country. So we're really proud about that. So just a lot of great things going on, a lot of revamping, a lot of, refreshing and, and that kind of thing, and just making government and our entities just more efficient, just better looking and just better for the public. So we're really excited about all of those projects as well. So
going back to the 80s, I used to hang out allegedly at some of the clubs down there near Salisbury University. And I look at Salisbury today, and it's a completely different town. Both my sons went to Salisbury University. They got great educations, and it's really gratifying to see that Salisbury is now a real jewel on the Eastern Shore, and you can get, like you said, world-class education there. You have the different apprenticeship programs and training programs down there that can help people get higher, modern, good-paying jobs. And I just think it's a great thing. Salisbury is a great town.
It really is. It really is. And we are really trying to, both, Mayor Jake Day and Mayor Randy Taylor, they have different visions, for the city. But I think that they both want to see that city thrive. And so we're trying to be good stewards and good partners, with them and trying to help, bring that vision, forward. And that's why, a lot of people are like, oh, but you're removing county entities out of the city. And I said, well, we're moving them to the outskirts because the city has a vision for what they want, right? They want a Salisbury University downtown presence. They want just more of that city feel. Our services for our community members just serve better on the outskirts. So we can still be, part of Salisbury, the city itself, but that downtown location, I think, really has, they've got some good momentum as to where they're going. And so, we're just trying to be cheerleaders on the sideline, trying to figure out, what's going to be the best course of action. So, Salisbury's great. I'm a Salisbury alum as well. So
great. Yeah. If people haven't been to Salisbury in a while, you got to go down there and take a look at what downtown is like and the waterway down there. Plenty of restaurants and what a great place to be and relax. I encourage people to spend a weekend down there. I know you have certain festivals down there that are very worthwhile going to.
Yes.
Maybe Patrick can
Festival, Third Friday. They do all kinds of stuff. It gets to a point, because our office building is right downtown, and we're like, oh, they're closing the road again. But it's always for something really fun. So the people, it just draws a great crowd. So they do a great job with that.
Now, if you have the folk festival or something like that, again, Patrick has his guitar, and he'd be glad to come down. I'm sure that would be a big draw, right, Patrick?
I will be. Well, I play an accordion, and I have a little monkey song like that. But
even better. That sounds great.
I think for many people in Maryland, Salisbury means I'm 20, 30 minutes from Ocean City. But having gone there for way too many years, I love Salisbury, and I remember it from the 60s. And I think about, and I've been down in a couple of years, but I just think about the evolution and how wonderful it is. And it's, honestly, I liked it better in the old days before the bypass, because you had to drive right through Salisbury.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
enjoyed that. But no, I think what you're doing, Julie, and with the county and what's happening with Salisbury is just, I think it's amazing.
Well, thank you. Yeah, we are trying to think of ways to get people to stop, right? So if they are traveling to the beach, we are only 30 minutes out, but come to a Shorebirds game, come stop and see, what we have to offer. So that's kind of what been, part of our goal in economic development and things like that. How can we get that crowd to, include us, you know what I mean, a part of your vacation and part of your ventures down here. So yeah, so that's always been a challenge, but we're trying. We're trying to, get people here and, keep them staying here. We've talked about, I'm sure just like every other county, like we need housing, we need all of these different things. So we're really trying to work, to try to get people not only just visiting, but also, come here, come live here, be a part of what we're doing here. So.
Yeah.
Now your county administrator, Bunky Luffman, and I are always promoting Scrapple Night at Shorebird Stadium. And that's something you got to go to. They have Scrapple for sale, and it's a big Scrapple groovy thing, man. It's just it's just awesome.
This Scrapple thing is so funny with him with the Scrapple Trail. I mean, it is taken off. He's got thousands of followers. But I told him, every time we have a breakfast, we've had a legislative breakfast and we have different things. Always, they don't even ask anymore. Like Scrapple is on the menu every time. So it's, we always have it as part of it. So, and he's constantly taking pictures and stuff. So, yeah.
I think the legislature ought to make it the official breakfast meat of the Eastern Shore. That's just me talking. That's just me talking.
Absolutely. So yeah, I hope to have some on the 7th. I'll be visiting with them as they tailgate for the Ravens. So I'll definitely get some Scrapple then. So
great. Well, Madam County Executive, I see by the clock on the wall that our time is coming to an end. We want to have you back on again. I want you to update us on what's going on with the legislature in 287G when the time comes. But Patrick and I, at the end of our shows now, we try to tell the truth. So, Patrick, would you lead us into the ending of the show?
Clay, let us raise our right hand. There we go. I got it.
Oops.
Okay. Until our next show, do we solemnly swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help us God?
Let me think a second. Yes.
We do, yes. We see. I got all the languages covered.
Yeah. There you go. Well, thank you so much, Julie. Thank you for joining us, and we'll have you back on soon.
Yeah, thank you. Sorry for the technical difficulties, but yes, I promise I'll try to have all that worked out next time. So thank you for having me.
It made the show. Thank you.
It did. Yeah. That was good television.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Thank you guys. Yep. Thanks.
Talk to you later.
See ya.